Hey guys, it is Jeremy again. Welcome back to Books and Coffee, and today I'm here to film a book haul as promised. I have two large stacks of books. One is not here yet, so I'll have to show that, and that's not coming for like a week and a half or so, so I'll have to share that next week when it gets here. But I have two big stacks here. Some of these I've had for a few months. Others I acquired recently. So we're just gonna start with the one stack that's not really in a safe area, so we'll get through this stack first. I have a couple of Star Wars books. I'm actually a very huge Star Wars fan, like massive. I love reading the Star Wars books, and if that's something you guys would like to see more of, I am going to be reviewing a couple of the young adult ones on here, just because this is a YA channel. So, but the first one I have is called Brotherhood. This is written by Mike Chen. And love the cover to this. This is awesome. What I'm really excited about this one is this one follows Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi. This novel is set 2 weeks after the events of Attack of the Clones. So we see Anakin, who's trying to get used to his new mechanical arm, and he is no longer a Padawan. He is now a Jedi Knight, and Obi-Wan is not, he is now a Jedi Master instead of being a Jedi Knight. So different roles now, we get to see these characters in a place where we've never seen them before, and we get to see them meet a lot of characters that are very big parts of the Clone Wars TV show. Which is really, really interesting to see. I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of characters pop in from that. There's a character that's off the top of my head that I can't quite remember now, but this is like my most anticipated read of the year. Even though this book came out last year, I only recently got myself a copy of it, but this looks really good, and it's not too long, so I might read this one on the side. If you want to see adult Star Wars book reviews on this channel, feel free to just let me know, and I will totally add that to my list. So, next one we have is Star Wars: The Princess and the Scoundrel. This is written by Beth Revis, who has written books like Across the Universe trilogy. She also has another Star Wars young adult novel that's called Rebel Rising. So this one is about the wedding of Leia Organa and Han Solo. And what I love about this book is told in dual perspective. So even though it's still in third person, it's also in alternating chapters between Han and Leia. This is set immediately after the Battle of Endor, and this takes place after Return of the Jedi. This looks awesome. However, when I first saw this cover, I thought this was going to be a young adult book, and I was completely shocked that this was a adult Star Wars book, because most of the adult books don't have romancy type covers like this one, but it's a really gorgeous cover. I really like this cover, so I'm really looking forward to reading this, and it looks really good, so for sure. So next, I'm going to actually group these next three because they're all by one author. I have heard really great things about his books. I've read one of the three of these, and I read it a few years ago, so I'm going to have to reread it before I do a review, because that's just not fair. Because I wouldn't remember anything, or at least not enough for like context. So but the books are from Ernest Cline, author Ernest Cline. So we have his book Ready Player One, Ready Player Two, and Armada. His books are all heavily based in sci-fi fantasy genre, for the most part, and it deals with a lot of pop cultural references and really cool like adventure things. I have I loved this book. Loved this book. This was so great. If you love video games, I think you are going to have a lot of fun reading this one. Like I said, I read this one a few years ago, so I don't really remember much about what happens in this one. So I'm going to have to reread it, which it's not going to be a problem. I raced through this thing like nobody's business. It reads really, really quickly. And for a slow reader, that's pretty good. Okay. So this one was a cover buy. I saw this at my local Walmart, and I was like, okay, you know, and I couldn't get over how thick this book was, but the book is 1,000 Heartbeats by Kira Cass. I have never read a Kira Cass book ever. I was never that interested in her selection series, which is like 5.5 or 6 books long. Just not really interested in Bachelor picking men thing, just not really for me. This is more closer to, not exactly, I wouldn't call this fantasy, but it's like kingdoms and things like that. And it says history divides them, fate unites them, will love keep them together. And this book is 561 pages. So this is more than double the size of her normal books. This is a standalone. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book. And I'll just read the synopsis for this one. Princess Annika has lived a life of comfort, but no amount of luxuries can change the fact that her life isn't her own to control. The king once her loving father has gone cold, and Anakin will soon be forced into a loveless marriage for political gain. Miles away, small comforts are few and far between for Lennox. He has devoted his life to helping his people take back the throne that was stolen from them long ago. For Lennox, the idea of love is merely a distraction. Nothing will stand in the way of his fight. But when love against all odds finds them both, they are bound by its call, and they can't possibly be together. But the irresistible trum of 1,000 heartbeats won't let them stay apart. Sorry, I was horribly reading that, but this book sounds incredible. It's really, really long though, but it's not too bad. Like it's not like really intensely long. So yeah, to say that's probably going to be on my list of a tome book. Tome books, I love reading big books during the middle of winter. So I have 2 trilogies here. This one was recommended to me off of Amazon, and the ebooks were pretty cheap, so I bought the ebook and I started to read about half of it or so, and I was like, yeah, I've got to own these in print. So they are the Keeper of Time trilogy, written by J.M. Buckler. The first book is called Seeker of Time, Stillness of Time, and the tome book of Passage of Time. Very glossy covers. I'm not a big fan of glossy covers. But these look very good, and they sound really, really interesting. It's about a girl named Alara who moves to a new school, and she kind of starts, falling in love with this guy, and then there's this guy that keeps following her around. I won't really get into it because I don't know a whole lot about it, but to say that I'm quite excited to read this is an understatement. So, or shall I say continue reading, actually. Because I wouldn't say halfway, I'm about like 20% in, so I can't really judge it too much at this point. So this next series is one of my favorite book series of all time. I love and adore this series immensely, and I wanted them in hardcover again. They are not available anymore, like shipped and sold through direct retailers anymore. Sorry, my nose is scratchy. But I was looking around and I found these off of a book website. It's like Murtali, or I forgot the name off the top of my head. But anyway, I found it off there. This person had bought them. It had bought the hardcover box set, had never read out of them or anything like that. And I'm like, well, this is freaking awesome. And it's one of my favorite book series ever. I read these back in 2012 and I fell in love with them. And that is the Wolves of Mercy Falls series by Maggie Stiefvater. I do have reviews on this series, but they're really bad reviews. But they are Shiver, Linger, and Forever. I adore these books. It's a werewolf series, which to me oh my gosh, why is my nose always itchy when I'm trying to film a video? But I've always preferred werewolves over like vampires or witches, fairies, anything supernatural. I've always preferred werewolves because I think they're just a much more interesting supernatural creature. And I feel like the lore behind werewolves is a lot more interesting. You know, turn once in a full moon is just a little bit more interesting to me than sucking people's blood. All right, 3 more to go. So these next 3 books have been called out as problematic online in places like Goodreads and Twitter and TikTok. So I wanted to kind of read them for myself and, you know, decide for myself if they are bad. So I'm so sorry. I keep scratching my nose here. But sorry, my throat was getting scratchy. Anyway, so the first one is called Lark. This one is by Alex Asher. And this is the first book of a young adult fantasy series. So I'm going to read the inside synopsis of this one. Welcome to Sentinel. Every 100 years, the island of Lark appears for only 100 days to host a deadly game where the rulers of 6 realms fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. Each ruler has something to hide. Each curse is uniquely wicked. To break them and to save themselves and their realms, one ruler will die. To survive, Elzla Crown must lie, cheat, and betrayal, even as love complicates everything. So this is very high on my to-be-read list very, very soon. This sounds incredible, absolutely incredible, and I am very excited to read this one. Very, very excited. As in, it's like this one and Seeker of Time. I might actually read them at the same time. I'm also probably going to be doing that to Ready Player One. I actually kind of like reading more than one book at once, because if I get a little bit tired of one book, I can switch to something else. This next one, I wasn't really sure if I really wanted to read this one, but this was another cover buy. I was in my local Target. I saw the cover. It was so gorgeous, so beautiful, and I had to have it. And this one, look at the cover. Look at this cover. It is so, sorry, my ring light is making it glare, but it's really beautiful. This one is called We All Fall Down by Rose. We're just gonna say Rose. I can't pronounce the last name. So this book, the inside synopsis is super long, so I'll probably make up for this when I review it. But it's set in a place called River City, where magic used to thrive and is now fading, and the witches who once ruled alongside their most powerful king have become all but obsolete. The crumbling government is now controlled primarily by the new University of Teaching Hospital, which has been taken over by half the city. Moving between the decaying old city and the ruthless new city, 4 young queer teens struggle with the daily hazards of life, work, school, and dodging power-hungry cops and scrupulous scientists, not realizing that they have been selected to play in an old-age drama. Revives the flow of magic throughout the world. When a mysterious death rocks their fragile peace, the 4 are brought into each other's orbits as they uncover a deeper magical conspiracy. So that sounds very interesting, and this is supposed to be the first of a duology, so there's supposed to be at least one more. However, considering the controversy of that book, I don't know about that. And I've saved kind of the best for last. Well, not really exactly. I'm kind of excited for all of these, but this one is The Ones We Burn by Rebecca. I thought it was Minx, but apparently it's Mix, which sounds weird because it sounds like I'm mixing something in the kitchen for a last name. Gosh. But I love the cover. This is I think this is considered sapphic fantasy or whatever. But gorgeous, gorgeous cover. Really thick. Okay, that sounds weird. And the synopsis is like really, really long. So I'll kind of just zoom it in here and you guys can pause to read. I know that's probably lazy on my part, but that's really, really long. All I can say is I'm really excited about this one. It sounds really good, and the writing of this just looks really good. It's third person, and I'm trying really hard to get into fantasy, so yeah, so that's this one. Sorry I didn't really spend a whole lot of time on this one, but all of them sound very good, and I'm really trying to incorporate as many different type books as I can, and trying to read some different ones. There's also some behind me. This one, Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff, I've had that one for about a year, or maybe not quite a year, but that one is 734 pages, and that is adult fantasy, high fantasy. So I think that one is going to be one I will be slowly reading over the course of at least the next couple of months, because I don't read adult books very often, and I definitely don't read adult fantasy books very often. But yes, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be back probably later this evening, and I will be posting my review for Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys subscribe if you're not already, and let me know which book of all these books you want me to review first. If there's a title here you actually want me to review more than any of the others, feel free to post a comment down below and let me know, and I will move that one up to the top. However, I will probably be the one that makes the final decision, well, 'cause I'm the one who's reading them, but I can say I'm probably really looking forward to Lark, 1,000, Heartbeat. I definitely want to reread Ready Player One, because that book was one of my absolute favorites. So once again, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.